this morning in the book of Genesis, chapter 22. We're going to be reading, down to probably verse about 12. But this morning's message, it was amazing. We never talk, Brandon and I, about what music to play, but we always kind of leave that up to the Lord. I know a lot of most churches are a little bit different than that. You know, they got the music lined up with the sermon. I try to let God be God. Amen. And so this morning, that last song he was playing, I told Susan, I said, I can't believe it. I said, listen to what he said. But the title of the message this morning is Lay It Down. Lay it down. Turn your neighbor and say, lay it down.
Lay it down.
But in Genesis chapter 22, verse 1, it says, Now it came to pass, after these things, that God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, and he said, Here I am. And he said, Take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go up to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on the mountain of which I shall tell you. So Abraham rose up early in the morning. How many of y'all would have got up early in the morning if the Lord told you to go sacrifice your son?
Amen.
I think that's one morning I'd have stayed in the bed. Amen? But he said he rose up early in the morning, and he saddled his donkey, and he took two of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and he split the wood for the burnt offering, and arose and went to the place which God had told him. Then on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said to the young men, Stay here with the donkey. The lad and I will go yonder, and we'll worship, and we'll come back to you. That's faith right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then he said, So Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on Isaac and his son, and took took the fire in his hands and a knife, and the two of them went together. But Isaac spoke to Abraham, his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. Then he said, Look, the fire, the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, God will provide. Turn to your neighbor and say, God will provide.
God will provide.
For himself the lamb for a burnt offering. So the two of them went together. Then they came to the place of which God had told him, and Abraham built an altar there and placed the wood in order. And he bound Isaac his son and laid him upon the altar upon the wood. Turn your neighbor and say, Lay it down.
Lay it down.
And Abraham stretched out his hand, and he took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Do not lay a hand on the lad or do anything to him, for now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. Then Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and there behind him was a ram caught in the thicket by its horn. So Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up for a burnt offering instead of his son. Instead of his son. This morning I want us to understand something when we talk about laying it down. You know, that's a hard thing for us to do, especially us humans. Hard thing for a pastor to do is lay it down. You know, a lot of times we ask God for help, but we don't want to turn loose of it. You know, this morning, if you just kind of look at your neighbor, kind of look over that way and say, He's talking to you.
Talking to you.
Yeah, see, he's talking to you. And he's talking to you. But actually, I'm talking to you.
Amen.
See, the thing we got to understand is this. It's hard to lay stuff down.
Yeah.
It's hard to have faith. It's hard to put things in God's hands. It's hard to say, you know what, Lord, I'm done with it. You know, that's not a bad thing to tell God a lot of times, I'm done with it. That's a good thing. That could be a bad thing if you say, you know, Lord, I'm not ever going to serve you no more. I'm done with it. I'm not talking about like that. I'm talking about when you have done everything you can to make the situation better. You've done everything you can to make sure you're walking in the right direction. You've done everything you can to leave this place and go to that place. And you've done everything you can to help your children. You've done everything you can to help your parents. You've done everything you can to help your neighbor. You've done everything you can for that neighbor. You've done everything you can for that cousin, your aunt. But it comes time that sometimes you just got to lay it down.
Amen.
See, you know, we'll come to the altar and we'll pray and we'll be prayed through, and then we'll say to ourselves, you know, oh God, I just give it to you. But the first thing in the morning, or before even you get out of the door, a lot of times, before you ever leave the church, you say, you know what? Lord, I don't know if I can really trust you with it. You know, I need to fix this thing. And we get in trouble trying to fix things. We get in trouble a lot of times. We make it worse when we try to build it or we try to fix it. I know I'm not no mechanic. And if I really want something done, I got to go hire a mechanic. Because sometimes I make a bigger mess trying to fix something that I don't know what I'm fixing. You know, there's a lot of things that we can do. There's a lot of things that, you know, like in this room right here, we have people that can paint. They're painters. They're good painters. They know what they're doing. But, you know, there's some of us in here that can't paint a lick. Some of us make a bigger mess if we try to paint. Some of us will take and it'll end up costing us more. Instead of calling somebody that knows what they're doing, we try to do it ourselves to save money, and it ends up costing us money. You know, I got a truck, and everybody said, hey, Pastor, you brought your truck. It took a lot to get that truck here. That truck's been through a lot, me and that truck. Matter of fact, there was times that I thought about how to roll it over. There were times I thought about how to burn it up. There are times I thought about where I could leave it so somebody could steal it. There's been a lot of times that me and that truck, I wanted to depart from it. And like I never knew it.
Amen.
Walk away from it. Quit. Give up on it. But after we've been through extensive expenses and all, finally the mechanic says, you need to take it to the Ford place and let them put it on their computer. And I said to myself, because see, I put a motor in the truck. I put a transmission in the truck. I put this on the truck and that on the truck. And after all that expense, the truck's still skipped. Still skipped. And then the mechanic says, you need to take it to the Ford place. They put it on their computer. I said, I thought you had put it on your computer. And he tells me, no, that's not really a computer. That just gives us an idea of what's broke. I take it to the Ford place, and I pay them. And you know what? They put it on their computer. And the part to stop my truck from skipping cost me $80. The motor cost me $4,800. Transmission cost me $1,300 plus labor. So I just kept adding. Instead of, I should have went to the Ford place in the first time. I should have started right there where the problem was. But we as people, a lot of times, we try to save money or we try to make it better. There are things in our life, you ain't going to make it no better. You're not going to make it no better. Matter of fact, if you fool with it enough, it's going to get worse. You know, if you put your hands in it too many times, it's just going to get bigger and it's going to get more aggravating to you. You know, I learned a long time ago in business. And when I say business, I'm not talking about like a bank type business. I'm talking about when I was in the tree business. And the machine would tear up. And I'd start to work on it. And I'd get aggravated with it. And I learned a lot of times you just need to put the wrenches down and walk away from it. You know, there's sometimes we try to fix things in our own life that we need to just walk away from. You know, there's sometimes we get on the telephone and we'll try to fix something with a friend and it just gets to be bigger. You know, the family member that you've been trying to get into church, you invite them week after week after week, and finally they don't even want to see you come by no more because they got aggravated with you. In other words, they don't want to know nothing about you, God. You know, a lot of times in pastoring, it's hard. Because in pastoring, if you don't call them, they get mad. And if you do call them, sometimes they get mad. If you ask them where they been, they say, I wish you'd quit asking me that. But if you don't ask them, they say, man, why didn't he ask me that? But see, there's times that we don't understand what it really takes to fix things. Over the years, I've learned that I need to pray about it. And what I mean by that is, there's some things that you can't fix And now all of a sudden God's asking for it back. That don't make no sense. I mean, humanly, in our minds, in the way we receive things, that don't make no sense. If somebody gives you something, for them to turn it right around and say, give it back to me. Does that make any sense to y'all? Well, that's what God did to Abraham. God said, now I gave you your promise, but I want it back. In other words, there are a lot of things that we ain't laid down yet. There are many times that we fight and we wonder, God, why in the world ain't things working out? And we don't realize we really have not laid our lives down. We really have not gave God everything. We really have not put ourselves into place to say, God, I'm done with it. In other words, God, I'm done with trying to make myself better. I'm done with trying to fix my home. I'm done with trying to fix my marriage. I'm done with trying to fix my kids. But what we got to learn is we got to lay that thing down. We got to put it before the Lord and say, God, I'm done with it. If anybody can fix it, you can fix it. Can somebody say that? You know, a lot of times we'll get in trouble just like going out and hunting for a mate. You young people, you go out and hunt for a mate. Always remember this. If you got a mate out there, God will bring that mate to you.
That's right.
You hear what I'm saying? The reason I know that is because I walked into a church. I'd been rodeoing. I come in. That's the only church my mama went to. I walk in one night. First time I ever went, I think. I walk in. I sat down. I looked to my left, and there sat Susan. I couldn't wait till the preacher shut up. I'm telling you the honest truth. I don't think I heard a word he said. The whole time I'm sitting there saying, oh, as soon as he's done. As soon as he's finished. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm telling you the truth. I walked right over there as soon as the amen. When he said amen, that was it. I was shot just like a bullet. And you know what? God had an appointed time. Woo! Turn to your neighbor and say appointed time. This morning I did everything I could do to get to church early. Everything I could do. Guess what? I was 20 minutes late. I was coming up the road and I looked at Susan and I said, we're going to be late. And I can't stand being late. I said, we're going to be late. And then I had to think about it a minute. I said, you know what? I'm not late. I'm right on time.
Amen.
I'm right on time because God had intended for me to be here this morning. And He intended for me to take as long as I took because there was a purpose in Him keeping me back. Who's to say that right down the road, if I'd have been on time, I'd been in a wreck? Who's to say that if I would have left earlier, that maybe something bad would have happened? Who's to say? In other words, I was right on time. God put me here when He wanted me to be here. God puts you in situations when He wants you to be in situations. God will grow you when it's time for you to grow. God will help you and God will bring that right person. Turn to your neighbor and say that right person.
That right person.
God will put that right person in your life. In other words, that job situation or that loan you're trying to get for your car or whatever it may be. We can't tell God, God, I'm angry with you and I'm tired of looking. No, God, I lay it down. I put it in your hands this morning. In other words, I'm going to lay my relationship down. I'm going to lay my marriage down. I'm going to lay my job down. I'm going to lay my life down. I'm going to give it all to you. All I'm going to concentrate on is serving you.
Amen.
All I'm going to concentrate on is this right here, me and you. That's what I'm going to concentrate on. Everything else in my life, God, I'm going to put it down, including my life. I'm going to say, God, not my will, but your will be done for my life. God, not what I want, but what you want. Not on my timing, but on your timing. In other words, I'm going to lay it down, God, and I'm going to trust you. The Bible said, trust the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, but acknowledge Him in all your ways. He will direct your path, but you got to learn to trust Him. You got to learn to put it on the altar. You know, I was thinking about this story this morning, and I know it's been preached many times, and I've preached it. But I've never seen it like I saw it when I was studying the other day, where God says it's time to lay it down. It's time to lay it down. See, I knew this morning when I heard that song come on, I went over there and told Susan. I went over there and told Susan, when y'all get this, went over there and told Susan. I said, Susan, I said, you know what? I said, God knows what we need before we ask. The Bible said even before I pray about it, God knows my needs. God knows I need something. God knows I need a friend. God knows I need a mate. God knows I need finances. God knows everything in my life. God knows what I need. But you know the thing about it, there ain't nothing I can do to fix it. Huh? There ain't nothing I can do to fix it. I was running a saw yesterday, and I was cutting, and it was cutting kind of crazy. It wasn't running right. And I run saws my whole life. And I kept saying, I said, man, I can't believe this saw ain't running right. I can't believe it. I need this thing. I only have so much time to do this. What in the world? And you know what I did? I cut it off and I laid it down. And I walked away from it. And I said, Lord, here I am. I'm hot and I'm tired. I can't believe what in the world. I said, what's wrong with this saw? And I walked back over there, and guess what? The little thing that connects to the spark plug, and the little wire that goes to the spark plug, had worked its way off, and so it wasn't running right because it had a bad connection. And see, I connected it back, and it started running like it's supposed to. But if I hadn't just laid it down, if I hadn't walked away from it for a minute, you know, that's the hard thing in life as Christians. It's hard for me to turn my kid loose. It's hard for me to just say, you know what, God, I can't fix this. I'm going to give it to you. That's hard to do. You know, I don't want to use anybody, but you know, there are people. You know, we prayed a lot of years for Brandon and Amy to have another baby. If it would have been left up to me, they would already have 4 or 5. I thought it was the Nintendo. We had to take it out of the house or something. I don't know what the problem was. But the thing about it was on God's time. You know, I've learned as I've gotten older in life, and some of you younger people will learn this, if it ain't God's will, I don't need it. If it ain't God's will, I don't want it. If it don't belong to me, I don't want it. You know what? I'd rather not have a wife if I had a bad one. I'd rather not have a job paying $1,000 a day if I hated so bad to have to get out of bed and go to it. See, the thing that we don't realize in life is this, is I'm put here for a little while. You put here for a little while. Matter of fact, the Bible says it like this. The Bible said life is as a vapor.
That's right. Amen.
Life is as a vapor. In other words, your life passes quickly.
That's right.
It doesn't make any difference. You know, here I am. I'm 60 years old. Seems like yesterday I was 20. I know y'all laughing, but y'all ain't got there yet. You haven't seen what I'm talking about. But I hate it took me this long to figure out that unless God wants me to have it, I don't need it. But in order for God to ever put anything in my hand that I really need, I got to learn to lay some stuff down. I can't fix my problem. We can't fix our problem with our kids and our grandchildren. We can't fix our job situation. We can keep stirring it, making it worse and worse. What we need to do is we need to just stop whining about it and start praying about it. Amen. We need to stop trying to make something happen and just let it happen. Because some of the greatest blessings in your life are just going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? They're just going to happen. They're just going to open up, and it's going to be right there, right when you need it to be. Because God's an on-time God. Turn to your neighbor and say, God's an on-time God. God's an on-time God. And you know what? It's hard. It's so hard for, especially men. Women, I'm going to leave y'all out of it. But especially for men, it is hard. You know why men won't ask for directions? Because they men. I know where I'm going. No, you don't. You've been lost for 30 minutes. You have no idea where you're going. You done passed that same house know, honey, this is right. And the bad part about it is when we have to look at her and say, you know what, I was wrong. Come on, Sister Amy. Lay it down. You know, God has put things in our hands at times. And we tried our best to make something happen. And right now it just ain't meant to be. But do I trust him with it? I'm going to tell y'all something this morning y'all don't realize. Me and Susan was engaged 3 times. 3 times. We broke up that many times. We did. I don't know why she didn't. I don't know why she got mad. I'd go on the road rodeoing and I didn't call her for about a month. For a month, 2 months. Then I'd come home and she wouldn't speak to me. I didn't understand it. Back then we didn't have cell phones. A bull stepped on me, broke my leg in 2 places, put me in a cast for 9 months. Well, that 9 months slowed me down. I was driving down the road. I looked up and there's Susan walking up the sidewalk. You bet not go by your girlfriend that you done been engaged with twice. You better not pass her, I can tell you that. I pulled over and I said, where you going? She got in the truck. Been going up the road. She looks at me. She says, if you ever leave again, it's over. She said, don't come back. And you know what? God slowed me down long enough to show me that I was about to miss the best thing in my life. The tragedy of being stepped on and being broke up slowed me down long enough for God to put a blessing in my hands. You know, people ask us all the time, when are we going to get a new building? We've looked and looked and looked. It ain't, you know, until it's God's time, it ain't going to happen. I can't make it happen. It takes a lot to make it happen. Finances, commitment. The ministry, Thrive Ministry, I'm just going to tell you this morning, I've laid it down. I'm going to be here. If you don't come, I'm here. If you don't support, I'll do whatever I have to do. But God ain't told me to leave yet. But I had to lay it down. I'm telling you, I'll wash my hands of it. I'm done with it. I'm done. I ain't worried about it no more. It's yours. If you won't close the doors tomorrow, close them. I don't care. I'm done with it. And you say, what are you talking about, Pastor? You don't care. I don't mean it like that. What I mean it like is you got to stop worrying about things. You got to stop worrying about your children. You can't fix your kids. You can't fix your job situation. You got to get to the point in your life to where you say, Lord, I don't care enough that I'm going to just put it in your hands. And what I mean by that is you put it in his hands and you just trust him with it. Trust him with it. Because you know what? I have found out the more I get in God's way, the bigger mess I make.
Come on now.
Huh? The more I get in God's way, the bigger mess I make. The more I try to make it happen, then the more it falls apart. So what I have to do is I have to go back to what Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. I've got to learn to trust God and say, God, this is yours.
That's right. Amen.
Abraham's son. God asked Abraham, said, get it back to me. God gave us this ministry. God put this ministry in our hands. I know it's meant to be. But I had to come to a point in my life where I had to turn around and give it back to Him. You see what I'm saying? Listen. When your kids are acting crazy, you can't do nothing, give it back to Him. Put it back in His hand. Say, God, I can't fix little Jimmy, so I'm going to put little Jimmy right in your hand. I can't fix people, God. I can't fix them, so I'm going to put them right in your hands. I can't fix my marriage, so I'm going to put it right in your hand. Let me tell you something. When you lay it down, even though God gave it to you, you still sometimes have to turn around and give it right back to Him.
Amen.
Give it right back to Him. Susan had prayed. And she said, God, if it's meant for Ray to be my husband, then it's going to happen. But I'm willing to walk away from it. But she put it in His hands. And God said, I'll slow that knucklehead down. You won't understand. Snap, cracker, pop. But God will take things when you say, I'm done with it. When you say, I don't care, Lord. And the reason I don't care, and what I mean by that, don't take me wrong now. Oh, Pastor, he won't care. I don't mean it that way. I'm talking about when you have to separate your feelings. You know what I'm saying? When you have to separate your feelings from that person that you love so much. But you have to separate your feelings and say, God, I can't fix that person. So I'm going to put them right in your hands. I'm going to lay them down.
Come on now.
And God, this blessing you put in my hand, I'm going to give it back to you. I'm going to give you my problems. Good Lord, have mercy. Who am I talking to this morning? I'm going to give you my anxieties. I'm going to give you my worries. God, more than anything, I'm going to give you my complaints. I'm going to give you my complaints. I'm going to quit complaining about this thing. I'm going to quit asking you why, when, where, why. No, God, I'm just going to lay it down. You know what? The thing about Abraham, he was so committed, he drew that knife. He was willing, and he had to say, Abraham, Abraham, Abraham. He had to get his attention. Why? Because he made up his mind. I'm going to kill this boy today because God asked me. Good Lord, y'all getting this?
Come on now.
He said, I'm going to kill this boy today because God asked me to. I'm going to kill this thing today. I'm going to get out of my, in other words, I'm going to get out of my feeling. I'm going to get out of what I want to do. And I'm going to set myself aside. And I'm going to get to the point of where, God, if you want me to slay it, I'm going to slay it. God, if you want me to lay it down, I'm going to lay it down. God, if you want me to give it to you, I'm going to give it to you. And God, if it's meant for you that I never have it, then so be it. There's some things in your life that we just got to lay them down. Because you know what? Let me tell you a little secret. If God's meant for it to happen, ain't the devil in hell going to stop it.
That's right now.
Listen, nobody, nothing's going to stop me. Nobody's going to stop me from getting what's mine. If God made me that promise, God says, if you'll just quit walking around in circles and pay attention to me, He said, I'll take you to your promised land. But folks, we got to lay this stuff down. Because I'm going to tell you a little secret in closing. As long as you're holding on to it, God won't take it out of your hand. He won't take it out of your hand. So you've got to say, God, here it is. Here it is, Lord. Here it is, God. I don't know about you. I got a couple of situations in my life. I told the Lord driving down here this morning, I said, God, you got to fix this stuff. Because I can't. Can't do it. I can't fix it. And I believe when you get to that point in your life to where you say, God, I can't fix it. But God, I trust you enough that I'm going to give it to you. This morning, in closing, if you got something you need to give to God, if you would just stand to your feet this morning right there. You don't have to tell nobody. You don't have to tell nobody what your something is. Whatever it is, you just take it in. Just take it in your mind, in your heart. Just take it, put it in your hands right here. God, I take little Susie, Lord. God, I take the desire to want to be a husband, be a wife. I take the desire, God. I take my marriage. I take my finances. I take, God, I take that job situation. God, I take my parents. I take my addiction. I take pornography. I take lying. I take drinking. Whatever it is, just put it in your hands right now and say, God, I lay it down. Lord, I put it in your hands this morning. Because I can't fix it. Put it in your hands this morning because I can't build it. I don't know, the Lord just spoke to me something about pain. Somebody's dealing with a lot of inner pain. Somebody's hurt you very badly. I don't know who I'm talking to this morning, but somebody's really hurt you. And I hear the Lord saying, I would fix it if they would just lay it down. Your past mistakes. Your past that the devil keeps bringing up before you, keeps telling you you're not what you're supposed to be, and you're never going to be what you're supposed to be, but because of your past. But this morning I hear the Lord saying, just lay it down. See, Abraham had to make a sacrifice. He had to take the care that he had to love. That's what I meant by when I said I don't care. He had to take that care. He had to separate himself from him. In other words, he could have never drew that knife back if he would have kept feeling his love and compassion for that son. He had to take it away and say, God, I'm going to put it in your hands. But when he did that, God made provision. See, when you put that job in his hands, he's going to make provision. You put that ministry in his hands, he's going to make provision. When you put that past in his hands, he'll make provision, he'll fix it. So this morning, will you really lay it down? Father, in the name of Jesus. You don't have to say it out loud, just say it under your breath. He hears you. But this